So let's talk about cycles. Before we talk about cycles, we have to understand the numbers. That's the number one, the number two, the number three, number four, number five, number six, number seven, number eight, and number nine. And for our example that we're going to use to do the life cycles, I'm going to use a random birthday and I'm also going to use a random name as well. But this will give you an indication. At first, I was going to use my name and my birthday, but I just rather use just something I made up, just to give you a better example. Because it's one thing to use it for myself, but it's another thing to show you how I use it with other people. So I'm going to use a random birthday. Let's say 9/18/19. Let's do 86. How about that? All right. And for the name we're going to give this person, let's do Jacob Allen Watts. I don't know anybody by this name. I'm making this name up, but I just want to show you how it works. Now, the first thing we have to do, right? The first thing we have to do before we can understand the cycles, we're going to break down the name into all the parts that it needs, right? We're going to do the we're going to do the life path number, right? We're going to do the birthday number. We're going to do the soul urge or heart's desire. There's many names for it. As well as for the life path. There's also sometimes in older texts it's called the destiny number, which I do like the destiny number because at the end of the day that is your destiny. But I don't see nothing wrong with calling it the life path either. It's all about which one you want to call it. The name isn't as important as the number and what it means. So now the other number that we need is going to be the personality number, right, which is taken from the vowels in your name. And so let me break this down. So life path and destiny number, that's going to be the full date of birth added up. The birthday number, that's going to be the day of birth. So for Jacob Allen Watts, that would be the 18th. Now, the next is going to be the soul urge and the heart's desire. That's going to be taken from the vowels in your name. And then the personality number, this is going to be taken from the consonants in your name. Now, the last number that we're going to do is the expression number, which is going to be the full name at birth. Full name. Now, the way that you describe, because the way the name is calculated is first you have to be able to transpose the letters into numbers, right? And as you can see here, each number has letters assigned to it. So number one, AJS, two, BKT, three, CLU, four, DMV, five, ENW, six, FOX, seven, GPY, eight, HQZ, nine, INR. Now, one thing that people have to understand when it comes to numerology is not about mastering just the one number. Everything is about being able to move on to the next step, right? Depending on the number, what's going to be the number? What do you need to do in order to get to the next step? Well, that's where the cycles come into play. That's going to help you to develop those parts that you need to develop in order to move on to the next step. So, what are what are the cycles that I speak of, right? What are the cycles? First, you have the universal cycle. So since this is the year, right, 2024, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 equals 8. So this is an 8 cycle. So the year 2024, that's the universal 8 cycle. And this means that everybody will be feeling the energy of the 8 cycle. And the number 8 is about karma. It's about recognition. It's about success. It's about legacy, generational wealth. Pretty much, it's about taking, having all of the knowledge and wisdom that you need and being able to move forth and making sure that you can build your name. This is your legacy. So that's what this year is about. But I posted a video already about that, what this year is about. So let's continue on from that. So now you have the universal cycle. Now let's talk about the personal cycles, right? So one personal cycle is your age, right? And remember, all of these cycles are going to be taken from the date of birth. So your age. So with Jacob Allen Watts, he's currently, if we add up his birthday, right? And so 2024, and I'm going to do it this way just because it just makes it easy for me. 2024 minus 1986. I think that's going to be 38. It'll probably be 38 this year. 6, 14 minus 6 is 8. Look, I'm old school when I do my math now. So, yep, 38. Okay. So, one thing is that Jacob's going to be 30. He's going to be 38 this year, but he's currently 37. That's where he's at. He's currently 37 right now. So the age, right? 37, because his birthday hasn't come yet. Now, what's the next cycle? The next cycle is going to be also your personal year. So just like we have a universal year, we have also the personal year. Now, how do you get your personal year? To get your personal year, right? And they say most books that you're going to read are going to tell you that the personal year goes from your date, from your birthday to the next birthday. But you also may see some people that say it comes in at the beginning of the year, just like the universal year. Me, I go by the birthday. I do both, but first thing I'm gonna do is go by the birthday. So how do you get the personal year, right? So for Jacob, you would do 9 plus 1 plus 8. And then for the year 2024, because this is what we're doing it for, plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4. This is how you get the personal year, right? You take the month and the day of the birthday and you add to the personal year. So 9 plus 1 plus 8 is going to be 18 plus 2, 20, 22, 26. So, and then we do 2 plus 6 is equal to 8. So not only is Jacob in a universal 8 year, but he's also in a personal year cycle as well at the age of 37. So now if I was talking to Jacob, I would tell Jacob, one, at the age of 37, right, 3 plus 7 equals 10, and then 1 plus 0 equals 1. So for his age, he's technically going to be in that one cycle, right? And the one cycle is all about new beginnings. It's about independence. It's new starts. It's about being more assertive, being more action oriented, new ideas. Putting it's starting to it's the beginning phase, right? And it's going to be the beginning phase of a business, the beginning phase of a new idea, the beginning phase of new partnerships. But this is what it's going to be about. That's going to be the theme for him. It's going to be a lot of new beginnings since Jacob is turning the age of 37, right? And also, with him being in a personal 8 year, this year is also going to have a lot to do with finances and also going to give him a lot of opportunities to add to his legacy, right? It's going to give him opportunities to add to his legacy, maybe making financial investments as well. But it's also going to give him opportunities to more step into his full power and to use the power that he has to do good deeds, right? Because we're not the power that we have, all the money that we get, yeah, we take it and we get what we need. And then the next step, right? After that number 8 is the number 9, which the number 9 is about being selfless and being a humanitarian. So pretty much this means taking everything that he learned at this step and did for his family lineage at this step. And now we got everything that we need at this step the number 9 step is going to be, well, now it's time to give back to humanity. Now it's time to do something for the world. And so with and that's who Jacob is, honestly, because with him being born in September, with him being born on the 18th, both all of that is the number 9. Number 9. Right? 1 plus 8 is 9. September, that's the 9th month. And then we're going to add up this 1 plus 9, 6. That is technically going to be the 6. So, and I'm going to show you how this works. Now, one thing I want to mention about the birthday is that the month that you're born in is going to cover the first 28 years of your life, right? And then the day that you're born in is going to be from the ages 28 to 56. That's when this part is being developed, right? And everything is about what you do on this step that's going to help you with this in this cycle, right? I don't want to say step, it's because it's a cycle. So everything that you learn from the first 28 years in your life, everything that has molded you and shaped you, is going to depend on how this stage is going to go for you. So between 28 and 56, he's going to be in that 9 energy. Again, there's going to be a lot of times where he's learning how to be selfless. Jacob is learning how to be, humanitarian. He's learning how to control his anger, learning how to let things go that no longer fit him in between these ages. And then this is going to be from ages 56, the year that you're born, is going to be from 56 until, you transition, you're no longer here in the physical. Now, the thing about, so let's go to the ages 28 to 56, right? With him being born between ages 28 and 56, this is going to have, since it's a double digit number, he has to work through both of those numbers to get here. So he's going to have a 1 cycle, and he's going to have a cycle where he's in that 8 energy. So again, he has to learn leadership. Then he has to, and then from leadership and independence, he has to learn about legacy, about his power. And then once he does that, then that's how the humanitarian is formed. So those are the cycles. And then once he gets to about age 56, which is probably honestly going to probably happen before that, he'll be feeling that energy earlier. This is going to be the later years in the life where this part is being developed, that's about him having more balance and harmony inside of his life. But this is also about being of service as well, because 6 is the number of service. Again, it's hard. This is a natural, like looking at that birthday, this is somebody that is being given an opportunity to be a real humanitarian. But again, everything during these cycles has to be developed. You're just not going to be given these things. These are muscles that need to be worked out. So let's go back to the other cycles, right? So we have the personal year, we have the universal year, and we have the age. Now, another cycle is called the pinnacles and challenges, which not a lot of people talk about, right? Um, and how you explain the pinnacles and the challenges, right? So the pinnacles are like a phase for a certain amount of years. Again, it is considered a cycle. Now, during these pinnacles, you're given opportunities. You're going to be given more opportunities for growth, but it's also going to give you an idea of the people that you may encounter, the energy that you may encounter, and also the challenges that you may have during a certain amount of time. And so, how do you get? So there are 4 pinnacles, and how do you add up all of these pinnacles, right? So the first thing you need to do is know the life path number, right? You need to know Jacob's life path number. And what is Jacob's life path number? I'm gonna do it the simple way and add it the single digits, which is going to be 9 plus 9 plus 6, right? So 9 plus 9 is 18, plus 6 is 24. So and 2 plus 4 is 6. So Jacob is going to be he's a life path 6. So, right, we got that number, right? So how do we do the pinnacles and challenge? Well, the first thing to do for the first pinnacle is going to be for Jacob is going to be from ages 0. And what you do, whatever your life path number is, you deduct that from 36, because there are 4 cycles. So you deduct that from 36. So 36 minus 6 is going to be 30. So that's going to be Jacob's first pinnacle. Now, for the second pinnacle, there's going to be ages 31 to 39. For the next pinnacle, that's going to be ages 40, right, to 48. And for the last pinnacle, that's going to be ages 49 to transition. Now, age 30. So let's how we do the pinnacles, right? So to get the so this is going to be the pinnacle, and this is going to be the challenge for Jacob, right? Because there's always a pinnacle, there's going to be opportunities, but there's always going to be challenges, right? So with Jacob, how you get the pinnacles, you're going to take the day, you're going to take the month and the day to get the first pinnacle. You're going to add those together to get the pinnacle, which is going to be 9 plus 9 is 18, 9. Now, his challenge is you do subtraction. 9 minus 9 is 0. So I'll explain what these mean in a minute. I just want to just do the addition and get things done first. So 31 to 39, how you get the second pinnacle is you're going to add the day that you're born and the year. So 9 plus 6 is 15, right? 1 plus 5 is 6. Now you do subtraction. 9 minus 6, right, is going to be 3. And it doesn't matter which number is which. You subtract from the bigger number, right? There are no negatives. Like you don't do any negatives when it comes to this. Everything is just, right, since this number is bigger than this number, you just subtract. And it doesn't matter if this number is bigger than that number. It doesn't matter. You always switch it. You always just subtract from the bigger number. Now, when you get to the third pinnacle, what you do for the third pinnacle is you want to add these two numbers up. You're going to add these two numbers up. So, which is going to be 3, 33, 6. So between the ages of 40, 48, we see that number the 33. That's a master number. That's a master number for Jacob. That's going to be a master number for Jacob. Right? And now the same thing, 3 minus 0, right? Whenever you do the challenge, you subtract. Whenever you do the pinnacles, you add. So 3 minus 0 is 3. And now for the last is going to be the year and the birthday. I'm sorry, the year and the month. So that's going to be 6 plus 9. Again, is going to be 15, 6. And again, 9 minus 6 is going to be 3. So how does this work? So in his first 30 years of life, right, he's going to give opportunities to be more of a humanitarian, right? Because that's what the number 9 is. But it's also an indication during this cycle that there are things that are going to be ending, that may be ending in his life. There are things that he may have to let go, relationships, careers, jobs. This part is being developed, right? Again, this is being developed into Jacob being a person that knows how to let things go and move on to new beginnings. Because, right, after the number 9, right, with that number 9, what goes back? It goes back to that number 1, right? After 9 is 10, which is 10 is 1 plus 0 equals 1. So that's why it goes back to the 1. So the cycle starts over. So he's learning how to let things go. Jacob has to learn how to let things go, because once he does, he can understand that new beginnings come after that, right? And that's just not for Jacob. That's all of us. Like once we learn to let things go, that's how we know that new beginnings are happening. And this is being done for Jacob, in that first pinnacle. Now, you don't see a 0 in the challenges too often. You don't see a 0 in the challenges too often. But what having a 0 means is, right, it's either it's a time of making and breaking, pretty much. It's a time where you can do some amazing things, or it's a time where things can be very difficult for you, and you get that choice, right? Of course, doing probably like the first 16 to 18 years of our lives, we can't really make that choice. But he's given another 12 years to make his own choices and to choose, right? So, and having that 0 is like saying that there's extra power behind it. People don't understand when a 0 is in the name, like in a number, for instance, like people that's born on the 10th and 20th and the 30th, because they have that 0, that's giving them opportunity for, it's like having the extra God power behind it. That's the best way I can say it. That's like having that extra God power behind it. But again, if he chooses the right path in his pinnacle, then the extra God power is behind it. He's going to have a chance for a lot of opportunities. He's going to have a chance for great growth and development. But if he chooses the other route, then it can be extremely tough, especially moving on to the next cycle. Now, again, this is the cycle for the 31, ages 31 and 39, which is going to get opportunities for a family home. He has to be more responsible because that's what the number 6 is about. But this is a chance where he also may have to do some personal healing. But this is also a chance where he has to forgive. And yeah, this is a time where he has to nurture himself and be able to move forward, and just learn how to bring more balance back into his life. Now, the challenge with that is the number 3. Whenever people have a number 3 challenge, this is an indication of being able to express themselves, right? The number 3 is about creativity, it's about expression, but it's also, right, everything is about being able to move on to the next step. So that's going to be about going from the number 3 to the 4. So this is a time, the challenge for Jacob is going to be about how can I need to get more, it's a time to get more serious, right? I need to go from the little kid that goes into that's now learning how to become the parent that knows when it's time to get serious and building a foundation, because that's what the number 4 means. It's about foundation. So during this time, his challenge is going to be about getting over that hurdle of being a kid, having like that kid like mindset. This is also about having a big imagination and then putting those ideas into use and starting to plan, because the number 4 is about planning. So again, everything is about being at one cycle and then doing what you need to do to get to the next cycle. And this is currently where Jacob is at in his life. He's right there between ages 31 and 39, which will, again. So now, the next thing we need to do, right? So we got the pinnacle challenges, we got the personal year, we got the age. Those are the 3 major cycles for when I do numerology. Those are the 3 major cycles that I look at. If another one comes to mind, I'll make sure to add it on here, right? Now, the next thing we need to do, let's get the rest of the calculations, right? Let's get the rest of the calculations for Jacob here, right? So his name, Jacob. Let me fill this out. The birthday number is 18. Since he's born on the 18th, it's a 9. So let's do these numbers next. Jacob, right? Allen, Watts. Make sure the camera can see that. All right, so Jacob Allen Watts. Now, Jacob Allen Watts. So let's start off first with numbering the letters, right? We have a number 1, a number 1, right? And there goes the guide up there if you guys, want to check my work. Letter C, 3, O, 6. The way we do it, we put the number of the vowels up top, the letter of the consonants at the bottom. And this is going to be B is 2. Now, Allen, that's going to be another 1, 3, 3, 5, 5. Then we got 5 again here for Watts. 1, 2, 2, 1. All right, so let's add these up. I like to do it by name. I like to add up the names as well. So 2 plus 3, 5, 11, 13. So Jacob's first name is a 13-4. So this is saying that this is going to say that Jacob is a very hardworking person. If I was doing a reading for Jacob, right? Jacob, hey, you're a hardworking person. You're very reliable. You have to be very honest. And doing those things will keep you on a high vibration, right? Because there's a high vibration of a name and there's a lower vibration, right? So if you want to stay in a higher vibration, Jacob, you need to work hard. You need to be diligent. You need to be honest. You need to be reliable. You need to be on time. You need to, right? You need to work on building a solid foundation for yourself. right? And this is who you are. The first name is what sets you apart from everybody else in your family. So inside of Jacob's family, Jacob is that hard worker. And Jacob, if I was talking to Jacob, I'd definitely let Jacob know with that number 13, you cannot take shortcuts. People think that number 13 is a bad number. It's not. It's just saying that you are going to have to work harder than most and you cannot take any shortcuts. If you decide to take shortcuts, you will be broken down, back down to the foundation, and you will have to rebuild. So that's what that number 13 means. Now let's do his middle name. Allen, right? So that's going to be 1 plus 3 is 4, plus another 3 is 7, plus 5 is 12. That's going to be 17, right? Plus another 5. That's going to be 17, which is another 8. Now, Watts. Now, the middle name. So I also want to talk about this, right? The first name is going to attract your physical influences, right? This is going to be your friends. This is going to be your relationships, partners, right? Your first name has a lot to do with your physical outside influences. The middle name, this is more so going to be your mental, right? And let me write that down. Physical, mental, and then the last name, that's going to be spiritual, right? Because that is where you get your spiritual foundation, right? Your family, the family name. What does everybody did? What religion did everyone in the family follow? What are the spiritual practices? What do we believe? Again, that comes from the last name of the family. How do you handle things, right? So 6 plus 2, right? 6 plus 2 is going to be 8 plus 10, and then 11, which is another master number, right? So it's a good chance that people that, since the last name, if you have the last name Watts, it's a good chance that people in your family, they are some very loving people, and they are the light for a lot of people that are going through the darkness, right? And it's a good chance that people that have the last name Watts, they have to go through the darkness themselves in order to give other people that light. So just a little bit there, touching on the number 11. All right, so let's add up the full name, right? So that's going to be 13 plus 17 is going to be 30. 30 plus 11 is 41. So that is expression number. That is the full name at birth is the expression number. So that's going to be the number 41. So he's a 41-5. Let me write that over. 41-5, right? Because 4 plus 1 equals 5. So now we want to do the other numbers as well. Let's do the harsh desire again, which is taken from the vowels. So 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. Right? 13 plus 1 is 14. So we're going to put that right up here, 14-5. That's the vowels in his name. So now the soul urge number, the heart's desire, that's really about what you really want deep inside. What really motivates you. What really makes you happy deep down on the inside. Not the physical aspects, but this is what your soul wants. This is what you really want on the inside. Now the personality number, which is taken from the consonants, the personality number, this is what you show people. It doesn't mean this is necessarily who you are, but this is when people first meet you, this is how they're going to view you. So let's talk about Jacob's personality number, right? So taken from the consonants, 1 plus 3 is 4, is 6, right? Plus 3, 9, 12, 17, right? Plus another 5 is going to be 22, 24, 26. Now, from the outside, it looks like the people that would probably view Jacob, they would probably think Jacob is very mature, right? Because that's the number 8. They would probably think Jacob is about his money. He can probably look very serious at times. Probably looking like the boss, the executive, because that's what the number 8 is. The number 8 is a number of maturity. And I told you the reason why is because the number 8 is all the way down here. These are the first steps, right? These are the first steps. But if you got here and this, then that means you have all of these numbers combined, and then you have that number 8. So that's maturity. That's maturity. It's a wonder why people that are born on the 8th, the 17th, and the 26th of any month, that's why they may seem more mature than others, is because they have all of these other numbers. So we got that, and let's make sure. One thing I do is I do make sure these two numbers add up to these two numbers, which I don't think they're adding up. So we might have to do some math over again. 14 plus 26. That's not right. I think I did. I think I did something wrong here. So 13 plus 17 is going to be 30. 30 plus 11 is 41. Where did I go wrong with my math at? Let's do this all over again. 1 plus 2 plus 5. 5, right? Plus 6, 11, 13. I did that one right. What's going on here? 4, 7, 12, 17. Did that right. 6, 5 plus 1 is 6, 8, 10, 11. So I added the names up right. I might have just did something wrong in here when it comes to the personality. So let's add this up again. So the soul urge is going to be 1 plus 6 is 7, 8, 13, 14. So I did that one right. So it might be the consonants I might be off with. 1, 4, 6, 9, 12, 17, 22. I might have missed one. 22, 24, 26, 27. So let's math it up. So my bad. My bad, Jacob. I messed up your name. It's actually going to be 27.9, and that is the correct number, right? Because then when we do 14 plus 27, yes, that adds up to 41. My bad. That makes more sense. All right. Now, so one thing about the name, how I was saying that the birthday is about the cycles, and we see which cycles you see how all the birthday has is all of the cycles, right? The birthday controls all of the cycles. Those are the cycles that you go through. Now, the name, right? So how I was saying in the previous video is how the names are, those are like your gifts, right? Those are like your gifts. So this is how we're going to do it, right? This is what I'm drawing. It's called the box of traits. These are your gifts. So let's put that in a little gift bag, right? So let's say the life path, let's say this is your journey, right? This is the road that you're going on. This is your road you're traveling. And these are the things that are going to help you along your journey. They have to be developed, right? They have to be developed, but this is what's going to help you on your journey. So this box right here is going to be for the number 1s that you have in your name. This is going to be for the number 2s that you have in your name, the number 3s, the number 4s, the number 5, the number 6, the number 7s, the number 8s, and the number 9s. So how this works is when you go to a particular cycle, right? When you're in a 1 cycle, when you're a 2 cycle, a 3 cycle, 4 cycle, 5 cycle, right, and so forth, the letters that you have in your name are going to be the ones that are going to help you in a particular cycle. So for instance, if you're in a 1 cycle, and depending on the number 1s that you have in your name, that's going to help. That's going to show you how much help you have in that particular department, how much help you're going to have, to help get you through that 1 cycle and overcome any challenges. And I'm gonna need another sheet of paper, right? So let's go there. So we got Jacob's information, right? I might need another sheet of paper. I don't like this. I just got stuff on the back of it. Let's do this one. Right, okay, cool. Right? So let's put Jacob's numbers back up here, right? So Jacob's number, right? Jacob is Jacob Allen Watts. right? Born 9/18/1986. So Jacobs is currently at the age of 37, right? Now his life path number is going to be the 24/6, right? His name number, the full expression number, is going to be the 41/5, right? It's the number 5. I don't know why I keep messing up with that. 5. Okay, soul number, the soul urge number, right? Heart's desire, whatever you want to call it. That's going to be also a 14/5. So deep down, right, what this saying for his soul number, I didn't touch on this, but this is saying that deep down he may want to be popular, but deep down he wants to change. The number 5 is about transformation. So deep down he wants to be able to transform from going from, again, it's about going to the next step, going from this number to this number, right? This is the age where he wants to go from having all this freedom to becoming a family man, right? Because that's what the number 6 is. That's about becoming the parent, the family man. That's about bringing back balance into your life. You know, when we talk about balance, it goes from being by yourself to having a partner, right? Going from the number 1 to 2. But this is also included in having a home, having children, being in a career, right? That's deep down what he wants. That's the soul urge. That's what the soul wants. I want to graduate from being this person that has all this freedom, that moves around a lot, to becoming the person that now is the parent, that now is the, again, being a family man. I can't put it no way better than that, right? Now, the other number is the personality, right? So what's his personality number? Is going to be the 27/9. So when people view him, they're going to view him as someone that is a humanitarian, someone that may be very selfless. And this is on a higher vibration, right? Very selfless, very honest, willing to help anybody, generous, compassionate, universal with the love, right? Not viewing people um how can I say this? But not seeing someone based off their color of the skin, their ethnic background, race, religion, and so forth, right? No, this is like, no, they see him as someone that on the higher vibration, they see him as someone that is accepting to all people, right? Now, that might not be who he is deep down inside, but this is what he shows people. On the lower vibration, he could show people that he can be very angry, he can be very quick tempered, right? He can be very selfish and not selfless. Um, and he can come out and he can be very judgmental as well. So those are the differences between the higher vibration and the lower vibration. So we missing one more number here. Oh, the birthday number. Forgot about that one. Right, that's the day that he's born on, which is going to be the 18/9. Now, this is one thing, right? It's one thing to know all of these numbers, but the cycles are going to identify when these numbers need to be used and when these numbers are being affected, right? It's one thing to put out all of the information about, life path, expression number, and so forth and so on, but at the end of the day, you need to know which traits are being affected, which traits are being developed, which traits need the most attention, and then also what's going to help you. And again, what's going to be our help is going to be this right here. That's going to be our help. So let's break down Jacob's name and see what Jacob has in his name that's going to help, right? So when we come to Jacob, let's see how many ones Jacob has in his name. One, two, one, two, three. So up four. My bad. One, two, three, four. He has four. So Jacob, so with this, right? This is not going to, so whenever he's in a one cycle, right, which can be ages 10, um, 19, 28, 37. So this year this is going to be a good year. He has a lot of help because that he has four number ones in his name. So this means that he has that masculine energy. He has that, right? He has that masculine energy. He has that assertiveness already. He knows how to speak up for himself. He knows how to be a leader. So this is going to really help him, especially because he don't went through all those other cycles. Again, he don't went through ages 10, 19, 28 already. And so that's helped to build upon this. Now for the number 2, he has 1, 2, 3. 3 number 2s, right? And so the ages for the number 2, and I'm going to write these over here. The ages for the number 2, right? Ages for number 1. So let's go ages for number 1, 10, 19, 28. Now I'm not going to go too far up there. 28, 37, 46, and let's do one more. 55, which is another master number. Double numbers are master numbers. So for ages 2, 11, right? 20, 29, 38, 47, and 56. Ages 3, 12, 21, 30, right? 30, 39. And let's do one more, 48. Okay, how about we're going to the 50s with this one as well. 48, and then it's going to be 57. 4, 13, 22, 31, 40, 49, and then 58. 5, ages 5, 14, 23, 32, 41, 50, and 59. For ages, for the 6 cycles, right? And again, I say ages, but these are also the cycles, right? Just want to make sure I clarify that the cycles of the ages, because again, that matters. 6, 15, 24, 33, which is another master number, just like 22, 11, 22, 33, right? 55, 33, 42, 51, and 60. Ages 7, 16, 25, 34, 43, 52, and that's going to be 61. So 8, 17, 26, 35. I don't know why I'm having such a brain fart today. It's all good though. I'm gonna get this done no matter what. 53, and then dang it, 62. And then 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63. So just to give y'all an example of the ages, right? Because those are the cycles: the 1 cycle, the 2 cycle, the 3 cycles, the 4 cycles, the 5 cycle, the 6 cycle, the 7 cycle, the 8 cycle, and the 9 cycle, right? So now let's get back to here and see what other tools that we have, right? Again, we got a job to do. I need to know what tools I got. What tools do I got? So let's go to the number 3. For the number 3, with Jacob, he has the C in the name, 1, the L's, 1, 2, 3. So he has good help in that department, right? And the number 3, that's going to be about communication, being able to express yourself, being able to speak up for yourself, being able to voice how you feel. But this is also about having, coming up with ideas, using your imagination, having that childlike energy. That's what the number 3 represents. That's that childlike energy, not afraid to fail, not caring what other people think. When you think about how a child, right, when you're a child, how you weren't afraid to fail, you'll get up and keep trying over again. Well, if this number is high, this is good. If this number is a low, it's a good chance that you may try something once and then may fear putting it out because you may fear how other people view it. But again, that's not a problem if it is low. That just means it needs to be developed more. So one thing I tell people, don't be afraid about what's not here. Those are just things that you need to improve on. And the more you improve on those traits, the lower numbers, the more you will be successful in your careers and life and your relationships. Some things just need work. The numbers that's high, these are already your strengths. These are the things that you're already good at. So let's go on from that. So what about the number 4? So now we hit a hump, right? Jacob doesn't have any fours in his name, right? So one thing, when you're missing a number, that of course this means it's going to be much harder for you, right? And what does the number 4 represent? The number 4 represents hard work. It represents a foundation. It represents long-term stability, security. So if I'm looking at Jacob's chart, right? If I'm looking at these numbers, I'm going to say, well, Jacob is he's it's not saying that he's not a hard-working person, but Jacob might not be working hard towards the long-term goal, depending on the influences that have went on in his life. He may not be working, he may be a hard worker, right, with his first name adding up to the number 4, but he may not be working towards a long-term goal, right? He needs to work towards what's going to carry him through life and what's something that he's going to be able to lead to his family. So if he's missing that, this may mean he might not be willing to endure the restrictions and the setbacks that come with the number 4 cycles, because that's what happens with the number 4 cycles. Those are the cycles where you're going to have setbacks and restrictions. There's a time where you have to build a foundation for your next cycle. Again, if you're at the age of 22, you need to be able to build. That's an age where you're building a foundation for yourself. That's a cycle where you're building a foundation for yourself, because changes are going to happen for you at age 23, right? And when things start to transform, you need to make sure that you have a good foundation. So let's go to the number 5. He has 1, 2 number 5s. So when this box is high, this is mean that a person is very changeable and they're very adaptable, right? They're very changeable and adaptable. When changes are taking place in the course of their life, this is going to be about how well they handle it. Now Jacob has 2 here. I'm sorry, 3. My bad, Jacob. Jacob has 3 number 5. So he has the E in Allen, he has the N in Allen, and then Watt starts with the number 5 as well, which is the W. So he does have good help there. So this means that Jacob is someone that is very changeable. He accepts change very well. He's adaptable, but this also could mean that he needs to learn how to accept a big change. But I won't get too much into that because I ain't reading Jacob right now. I'm just showing y'all how these cycles work. Now, let's go to the number 6. So he has 1 number 6, and that's in his first name. So with the low count, this could be saying that he may struggle with responsibilities. You may struggle with responsibilities. When the number is low, you may be someone that struggles with responsibilities and commitments. Now, when you get into those 6 cycles, right? Let's draw the line down to the 6 cycles. This may be an issue. These are the ages that he may have to work harder when it comes to learning about responsibility, when it comes to learning about commitments, but also when it comes about how he keeps himself in balance. How does he take care of himself? What is his diet? What is his diet like? What, does he work out? Does he read? What does he do to help keep himself in balance? So, and with this starting low, balance may struggle for him. He may be too overgiving. But again, I'm not reading them, but sometimes I can just go in and I can just start. So let's move on to the next. That's going to be the number 7. So the number 7 that's going to be the letters G, P, and Y, right? So G, P, and Y. Bro he has no 7s there. So when you're missing 7s, when you're missing the 7, you don't have any GPs or Ys in your name. This is an indication that you may need to learn how to look beneath the surface, right? Especially when it comes to the 7 cycles. This is a time where you're going to have to learn how to be alone. You're going to have to reflect, and you have to learn what's for you, what's needed, what do you need to let go of, right? But this is also a time of gaining more understanding. This is a time that you need to be more analytical, and not just with careers or your own experiences, but also with people. This is about not just taking things at face value with people, what people tell you. If you're missing that, if you're missing a G, P, and Y, you may have to learn lessons with people lying to you, right? You can't see things, you can't take things at face value. You have to understand the deeper motives. But again, I'm sorry, I keep on going into reading Jacob when I'm just trying to explain these cycles. So with the number 8, let's look at the number 8. 0 ace in his name. So with 0 ace in his name, this could be saying that Jacob has a trouble with seeing the big picture, because that's what the number 8 is. That's the number 8 is about, what can I take from everybody in my family's did, what everybody in my family has done, and what am I going to do differently? What is going to be my vision? What am I going to do differently? What am I going to do to carry out the family name? Now, with not having any zeros in his name, without having any eights, H, Q's, or Z's are in his name, this could be an issue. He may struggle to see that big picture, right? He may struggle to see that big picture. He may struggle he may struggle with he may have fears, right? Because the number 8 is supposed to be fearless. But if he doesn't have any, then this means that he may be someone that, maybe have phobias, may struggle with abusive, he may abuse his power, right? He may not understand how powerful he is, right? People that don't understand how powerful they are, sometimes, right? You don't know that you can burn bridges and you didn't even mean to, right? You don't know how powerful your words, actions, and thoughts are. And if you don't understand that, then they can be detrimental to you. Again, we see it think about cartoons and superhero movies, right? Until the person learns how to use their power, they're being destructive. And so that's what may be an issue for Jacob. My bad, y'all. When I get into it, I get into it. So let's move on to the number 9. How many number 9s does Jacob have in his name? 0. Jacob missing quite a few, right? So Jacob gonna have to work a little harder. Now, one thing I do want to say, if the number is missing from your name, right, it can still be present in your birthday, right? So if it's missing for your name, it still can be present, right? So he's born on the 18th, which is number 9. So yeah, he's going to have help there. He's going to have that help. And he's born in September. So he's going to have that help regardless. It's just may be a struggle in the beginning, but he's going to have that help regardless. The number 8, not so much. But he does get a little bit of the 8 in the birthday cycle, right? Because again, you have to go from the 18, you have to hit the 1, then you got to go through the 8, and then you get the 9, right? So 1 to 8. So he's going to get a little bit of that 8 energy, but it's not a lot. He doesn't get a full cycle of it. And what's any other number? So life path number. Now, again, that is going to help this. That's going to help this box number 6, right? That's going to help this box number 6 right here. But the thing about it, with this being his life path, this is still being developed. This is being developed. So this may not be of use until later in life. This may not be of use until later in life. Now, his expression number, again, this is going to add to the number 5. That's going to add to that number 5, right? We're going to cut across here. That's going to add to that number 5. This helps that number 5. The soul urge also is going to help that number 5 as well. The personality number, it may or may not help that number 9, just because, again, the personality is how other people view you. This is like the face or the mask that you may put on, right? And looking at the soul urge number, if these two matched up, I would say, yeah, because this is who you are deep down inside, but this is who you are on the outside. If these numbers matched up, you can say, yeah, you're getting the same person on the inside as you're getting on the outside. But with Jacob, you're not. On the outside, he looks like a humanitarian and somebody that's all about universal love. But deep down, he's going the path of transforming into that person. But right now, he's only at step 5. So again, everything is about moving on to the next step. So how do I go? So how does Jacob go for the 24/6 life path to the 25/7 life path? How does he go from being the expression number 41/5 to the expression number 42/6, right? How do you go from being a soul urge 14 to a soul urge 15? How do you go from being a personality number 9 to being the 28 1, right? How you go, what is it that you need to let go of to become the person that has the new beginnings? See what I'm saying? In the birthday number, how do you get from being the number 18, right? Again, being a person that's holding on to things, that needs to let things go, to being the person that, right? Again, that has those new beginnings, because 19, 1. Put that right there, 19, 1. Hopefully y'all can understand that, right? So you went from being the birthday number 18, now you go being the number 19, one who has new beginnings. So that's how it works. Now these are the gifts that are along his cycles, right? These are the things that are going to help him inside of the ages, inside of the pinnacles, inside of the universal cycles, and inside of his personal year cycles. So again, he has the tools that he needs, right? At the end of the day, like they say, God, he gave us everything we need, right? And that's here. And it's inside the name, right? Everything that we have is what we need. Now, how does this look? So again, so let's draw this out, right? Let's say this is the path here for Jacob, right? Jacob's on his path. I'm doing stick figures. Jacob's on his path, right? So this is the 1 cycle, 2 cycle, 3 cycle, 4 cycle, 5 cycle, 6 cycle, 7 cycle, 8 cycle, and 9 cycle, right? So this is the path, right? This is the journey for him. So in the 1 cycles, he's in his 1 cycle. Well, all right, well, let's see what this is his backpack. That's his backpack. That's what he's carrying. He's on the road. He got his backpack. He liked to wear his backpack, right? So when he's in a 1 cycle, the beginnings, oh, you got a good amount of help there, buddy. You got a good amount of help there, buddy, when you're in your 1 cycles. Again, that can be age 10, 19. Again, those are the 1 cycles right there. And then also the personal cycles, the universal cycles. So John is currently at age 37, right? He's currently at age 37. He's in technically for this year, he'd be in a 26-8 year. So 26-8, 26-8 personal year. So this cycle, that's the 26-8. That's going to be key for him, right? With 37, that's going to be very key for him, right? And then it's also a universal 8 cycle. And now also he's in, what pinnacle is he in? He's in the 6th pinnacle. So this cycle is going to be very important for him. Right? Now, as he's going on his cycles, right? He's starting the 1 cycle. Hey, we good. We up here because we got a good start to that 1 cycle. You get to that 2 cycle, right? You get to that 2 cycle, and how much help does he have? Oh, we got some good help. So you know what? We're gonna stay above this threshold. We good, y'all. He's walking, he good. He on the higher vibration side, right? He on the higher vibration side. He got some 3s there. We get to the 3. Okay, cool. Jacob, my boy, you good, brother? You at 3. You know what I'm saying? You done passed that, you good because you got a little help. But here we go to that 4th cycle. Here we go to that number 4 cycle, right? How many tools does he have to help with that 4 cycle? Jacob ain't got a lot. I mean, who he is, he's a hard worker, so that's going to help him a little. But to get the job done at that 4 cycle, you ain't got enough, bro. So you're gonna you may drop down a little low. Now it doesn't mean that you're gonna drop all the way down to the bottom, but it just means that this next cycle, when the next cycle comes around again, you're gonna need you know what I'm saying, there's gonna be more development. So this is the area where you're probably gonna need a lot of development. And now, so as we get to the number 5, how much help do we get there? Okay, since we on our way to number 5, you know what? This is gonna pull us back up some. It don't get us all the way back up because we're coming off that number 4 where we struggled a little bit more. But now, right, so it gets us back a little more, but it don't get us all the way back to the top. So we get to that number 6 cycle. Man, when you know what I'm saying, bro ain't got a lot. He ain't got a lot to help with that 6 cycle, so he got to drop down again, right? He irresponsible. He suck with commitments. He's out of balance, right? And you see life starting to get out of balance for him. Get to that 7th cycle. Bro ain't got no spiritual practices. He don't he you know what I'm saying, he don't like to do no research. He ain't very analytical. He don't research his family history. He let people just tell him anything. Like people lie to him. He probably a liar himself. So you at the bottom now. Now you get to that 8, same thing. The same thing. Right? You ain't got no help in that 8 department. It doesn't mean, and this is the thing, it doesn't mean that you don't get anything from there. It just means that the lessons inside of these are probably going to be a little bit harder. They're probably going to be a little bit harder. Now, since he's born in the month of September, which is the 9th month, we're going to help raise that 9 up a little bit. He ain't got none, but we're going to raise it up a little bit again. So now it's time for the 2nd cycle of John's life. So this is the 1st cycle. So now it comes to the 2nd cycle of I keep calling him John. Why do we want to say John? But this is going to be for the 2nd cycle, right? So boom, we're going to run across all those again. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know why I circled them. Don't worry about it. 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So now boom. So now we continue. Now he did the 1st cycle, done went through all there, done got what he needed, done learned some tough lessons. So now we back at the 1 cycle, right? And so depending on how this cycle ends is going to determine where he starts at on the 1st cycle. So let's say he's kind of right there in the mid-range. He's on his way working back up, but because he has all that extra help in the 1 cycles, so he's going to help boost him back up again. So now we go to the 2 cycle. Yeah, John got help in the 2 cycle. Jacob has help in the 2 cycle. So now we get to that 3 cycle. Has good help in that 3 cycle. Now we're approaching that 4th cycle again. So Jacob did learn some lessons in there. So, from that 4th cycle, so he is not going to drop all the way down as he did this time. He's going to drop down a little bit. Not as much as the last time, right? He's going to drop down a little bit. It's not as much as the last time. With the 5, yeah, we got some more help. So we're going to stay a little more higher on this 5 vibration now. But now we get back to that 6. We ain't going to drop down as much as we did because he did learn something right here. He learned something right here. So we ain't got to drop down as much. So now we come back to that 6th cycle, right? He's learning things about that number 6 now. Again, he's learning things about that number 7 as well. But he still doesn't have a lot. So he still doesn't have enough to finish the journey how he's supposed to, right? And I don't mean supposed to as like there needs to be an expectation, but it still may not be going the way Jacob might want, right? And that's just life. Period. So now we go to the number 8 again. He's still learning lessons from there. So now when he finishes off the 9, he's not going to finish as low as he did last time, but it still may be some challenges for him. Because then there's the 3rd cycle again. And so now, again, he's in the 3rd cycle. So you're always going to get more help, but it's going to take time. And so when people are asking, like, they want to know about love, when is love coming for me? When is the career and everything going to come for me? When am I going to have all of that? It's not about when. It's not about when it's going to be happening. It determines the cycle. In order for you to have everything that you're supposed to have, you need to be in alignment, right? This needs to be a straight line going across where you're in alignment. But most importantly, those places that you struggle with, right? If that was right here, might need to get it to right here. If the 7 was right here, you probably needed to get it to up here. If the 8 was down here, you may need to get it to right here. If the 9 was down there, you may need it to get right there. So it's not about when things are going to happen. It's going to be about what you need to do, who you need to become and what things you need to learn in order to, have that mindset shift and being able to transform into the person that you need to be in order to have those things. Right? And so, again, not having these doesn't mean that you won't ever develop these. These are the parts that are just going to take a lot more work. So hopefully this has helped. and broken down how cycles work. So back to my previous video, yes, both the birthday and the name are very powerful, but the birthday that controls your cycles, while the name lets you know what tools you have, what gifts you have, and everything that you're going to be able to use inside of those cycles. So he's got his bag. He's got his bag. He get down here. Guess what? That bag getting a little bigger, ain't it? He get down here to that third cycle. Oh man, that bag full. That bag is full. I know there's not really a stick body, but y'all get it. But that bag getting full. But this is also why you got to learn to let things go, because sometimes everything ain't supposed to come with you on your journey. Everything not supposed to come with you on your journey. So some things you have to let go. You can't be carrying dead weight. But hopefully this has helped y'all to understand more about cycles, what numerology really is. I know there's a lot of information about the life path. There's a lot of information about what it is and how you can use it. Well, this is how you use it. You know who you are, right? You know who you are as a person. You know who you are as a person. And you use who you are as a person to help you get to your destination, to help you throughout your cycles. And this is just not about people. This is also about businesses. This is how businesses work as well, right? It's not just about people. This is how businesses work. This is also about relationships, right? Because when you get in your anniversary, right, that's a date. That's a cycle. You're now giving your relationship is going to go through cycles. When you start a business, you start a business on a specific date, right? When you start a business on a specific date, that is your cycle. Those are your cycles. Now, what you name your business, that's going to be an indication of the gifts, just like how it is for Jacob Allen Watts names. What you name your business, and let's talk about that. Let's just use one, Apple, right? Apple. That number 1, the number 7, the number 7, the number 3, and the number 5, right? Those are the gifts of Apple, the company Apple. They can be very independent, innovative, competitive with that number 1, right? The number 7's mission. This means they do a lot of research. A lot of research. A lot of research is done. That's the number 7. I told you number 7 is being analytical, researching. That's why Apple takes a long time to put products out versus Android or any other companies, because they do their research. They are very big on data. And then a number 3 makes them pretty popular. And then a number 5 also makes them popular as well. And when you add up the name of Apple, 1 plus 7 plus 7, that's going to be 15, 15, 18, 18 plus 20 plus 5 is going to be 23, which is 5 is the number of technology. 5 is the number of technology. So that's no wonder why Apple does so well as a company. Because when you're in the technology field, which is ruled by the number 5, your name adds up to the number 5. And you know what you need to do inside of these cycles. You know what you need to be successful. You know what you got. You know where your help is at. This is what's going to be your strengths. Your research, your data, your analytics, your creativity, your communication, right? Your ideas. The number 3 is also about ideas. And then the number 5 is about being able to transform, being able to see the future, being able to adapt to change. That's why Apple is so powerful. But that is how cycles work. That is how, again, not only with people, but, of course, with businesses, relationships. If it has a date and a name, it can be analyzed. But the cycles need to be understood. This is similar to the stock market, right? You see how companies are traded on the stock market and why they do better in certain cycles? This is why. This is why. So hopefully this has helped y'all. I wanted to give y'all some real information. I know I touch a lot on the life path, the birthday numbers, which is all fun, but I want to show you how you're supposed to use this information, and this is how you use it. So thank you to Jacob Allen Watts. I don't know if this is a real person born on this day, but yeah.